of companies, just ideas are sold. I personally invested in a company, when it was just on a paper. And we invested 2.4 crores in that company. Today, the company is in 2008. Today's the company valuation is 350 odd crores, right? But the entrepreneur who is running it still wants to make it 1,000 crores. So for him, 300 crore valuation is not success. Whereas for us, we have multiplied our money multiple times. Okay. So it is different to different people.
This for Subraju, yeah. What is the current startup scenario, compared to other cities like Bangalore? We are far away from Bangalore. Is there this opinion is good for Hyderabad, or is it different?
Yeah. Comparison is always very dangerous. But in my opinion, as a city, we are actually growing far better than any other place in India at this point in time. Because of, let me tell my own personal, numbers which we did last year. So Startup Leadership Program is a global platform. Just wanted to tell because this is a platform which works for the startup founders to make them understand how to start and make the business successful. So we have, when we opened for applications, we have 288 applications, which is the largest number that any chapter on the globe got. That is, we are about 26 chapters across the globe, and we are the largest numbers in applications. We, as a program leading team, we met 100 people personally to interview and select 25 startups. And out of 25 startups, 30 to 40% of them are no need of funding. They are already doing good. And 30 to 40% were just started and trying to do something. And the other 30% people were either they have started, they failed, and again trying to start, and they're at a juncture where what they wanted to do. This is how we made the entire team. All the 25 startups, if we say the people, there are 2-3 people have different engagements now, but 20 to 22 startups are doing wonderful. Out of them, few of them have actually tried raising money, and some of them are in positive discussions with people. So I'm giving this number because this is one such platform. We have multiple things happening in Hyderabad, like Founders Institute is there, and then we have Sparkton came up, we have T-Hub is happening wherever we go. So in the country, wherever we go, there one question is very inevitable, that is about T-Hub. So you guys are doing amazing. And so from Hyderabad, and one another personal experience as an entrepreneur, whenever we are going and meeting people to raise money, they are actually telling that being in Hyderabad, probably you may not get better valuation. Shift to Bangalore, you will get 20% of additional valuation kind of a thing. So these things are happening at one side. The other side, like me, there are quite a few entrepreneurs who are getting this kind of a information from different people and questions from different people. But I can say, my friends here also can vouch. We are the most vibrant ecosystem at this point in time. Certainly, yes. But the level of maturity, yes, we have a very long way to go. Certainly, we are there in getting into that particular point, is my view on. And this is the best city, in my opinion, to be in for any kind of a startup or entrepreneurial activity at this point of time.
Okay, that's good. Any interaction from audience? So no one is there? Introduce yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sailesh, and we are in the school education business, one of our businesses. We've been trying to get funding for the school education business in a decent way. We've been in the business for about 10 years now, and we are doing about 20 crores. And we need that kind of a leap forward, especially in the low percentage of, if you take a look at the valuation of these kind of education companies. We are not in the online business, by the way. We are in brick and mortar business totally. So what are the ideas that you have for brick and mortar business to be investing in, especially when you're seen with your kind of experience in investing in probably online kind of space now?
Yeah, funny. No, actually, he is looking at the investment point of view in education.
I think,
yeah.
So So the question is, why do you need investment, right? So if you're looking at creating a, if you have the opportunity to create a billion-dollar business, that's when your VC would be interested in, right? Typically, if you're talking about at a 20 crore, top line, I think that you're really looking at something like a VC investment.
No, he's
at this point in time.
That, investment for technology growth, we have an education system like first standard, second standard, like kind of 10th standard. That's not that innovation comes under, education system. It has to be changed, right? That's what he is trying to interact with.
Well, let me rephrase it. The idea of investing in a technology business vis-a-vis a brick and mortar business.
Yes.
So if you can expand on that, it would be great.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's primarily about scale, right? How fast can you scale and, get to that $100 million plus, top line. If you have a business model which can potentially scale very, very aggressively, like a, hockey stick model, as they call it, and if you have some proof of concepts, right? So you have executed this business model on a smaller scale, and therefore, more or less, the risk of the idea is not there. It's only about, and the model has been proven. You just need money to, to scale up very quickly. That's when people would be interested in, pumping in money. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
See, just to say, it is not just technology when you talk about entrepreneurial or a startup. So there are quite a few investments that are happening. If you go back and Google it, even from the Hyderabad itself, you have a panel. This question can be answered there also. The percentage of investments into brick and mortar businesses or non-technology businesses are almost equal to the investments that are happening to technology. So there's no limitation to it basically. But as I said, most of us we always talk, a purpose of a startup is business. Right? The business purpose is make some money, get some revenues and make some profits to it. So everything depends on that basically. It is not just, whatever business you do, if the business is scalable, if the business is making proper business sense, I think it is, investable only. So that is my view. Funny, you have anything to add?
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me congratulate you that, you have a 20 crore top line in school, which is very nice. I very sincerely looking at a lot of, schools in Hyderabad, whether you take Gautam Model School or Oak Ridge, or all of them have got funding. And they are all in the range of, 100 odd crores. But when they started, they were also in the range of maybe, 30, 40 crores when they got funding. So there is no particular differentiation between, funding tech and non-tech. So there is equal amount of funding which is happening in the tech sector as well as non-tech sector. The key would be the use of funds. So what are you using the funds for? So if you are going to use it for like working capital, okay, basically, then it's a very different question. No VC would be interested in, right? Because VC would typically look at that if I have $X, how can I make X square, X cube, and so forth, right? Versus, a brick and mortar, system would be slightly different, right? That is what the difference would be.
Yeah, I'm extending that question. Yeah, why these investment not coming under education system in the innovation kind of thing? We are going, we are giving textbooks, learning, exam system like kind of thing. Why don't you this innovation not coming under education?
No, so if you look at, I think there is tremendous amount of innovation coming in the education sector. Now you have, you look at companies like Treehouse, Career Point, look at Byju's, so many companies. So there's tremendous amount of money which is coming into education sector. So EduComp, when it started, was the first one which had massive inflows of, private equity as well as, stock market funding. But that has not been too great a success story, but there has been enough and more funding which has come into the system. That is what is my belief.
Yes, Ajay.
In fact, I would say that the country is being run by the education lobby and the real estate lobby.
Education-wise, like if the content is very good, like for example, when comparing the school education and primary school and secondary and all the competition kind of thing. So a lot of people are coming up with an online content, online videos also, even on sharing on like classroom.
Online content is not so successful compared to these.
No, even the certifications exam, for example, Simply Learn.
Yes.
They're doing a very good business
That
over
is in
there.
graduate.
Yes, graduation level.
I'm talking about school level.
The school
Yeah,
level
free,
is
yes.
it's still there is challenges over there, but
Yes.
but the education level for getting the job, for example, there is no skill like training process is going on well. So there is no content and the syllabus is being there for any kind of content and any kind of skill. So a lot of online, the simpler and kind of certification kind of thing to get the opportunity to improve their skills and then one skill to another skill to migrate from the most of the people like most of the companies are going with an online training kind of model. So there is scope over there instead of the small level school level kind of thing. That is my feeling.
We have our chief guest. Yeah.
Close the panel discussion, or is there any last question from the audience? Maybe one last question, if there is any.
My name is Chandan Dikshit. I have a very small question, or need it's a suggestion I needed from you guys. That,
Speak loudly.
Hi, my name is Chandan Dikshit. I am a founder of Digital Dada. Okay, and so what my question is not really a question, it's a suggestion from you guys that what parameter we have to fix before to reaching any VCs, that we have to, what parameter we have to fulfill, or what in our business plan or in our anything that we have to reach to VC, what we have to foolproof before reaching any VCs.
Yeah, I can say it's totally a case-to-case basis. Some of the VCs will ask you like the different kind of question, and then because, for example, I'll give my personal experience. Initially, when I go to the VCs, they used to say, Ajay, there is a lot of people like the job board management and the like now Cream Monster, Time Sunshine. They're already been there. What you can do that? So then I proved that in the 2 years of yes, I'm doing the profitability and then I'm doing the very good business in the market. Then I reached around 12 to 15 crore of revenue. That point I went back again to that. They said like, yes, I'm profitable now. I'm earning the money. Then they said, why you need the money now? Then after that, now recently when I go on to the acquisition kind of discussions or something, any kind of investment kind of thing, they said like, okay, Ajay, you are doing very good, and I don't think so. You didn't really the money. You can grow and you can look for some kind of acquisition kind of thing, or else you can now you are in the situation to acquire some another small player. So this is a three different kind of questions in it. Initially they ask like, you are not earning the money, so how we can be invest. The next stage, so how you can be, you are already earning, why you need the money. So if really you are able to get then some kind of business model in the perfect way, yes, there are chances. And if you are able to showcase, yes, if you are really any investor is not looking for to help you, the investor is looking for to earn on you. That is the only thing. If you are ready to showcase like, yes, if you are going to be with me, then you are able to get revenue 2x or 3x or 4x, then they are ready to invest on that. That is my personal feeling.
Yeah. First of all, why are we just thinking about VCs while we are doing a business? The first question we should ask ourselves is, do we really need external money? And the external money you should look at only when you are doing considerable, meaningful business, whatever you started. So to give my personal experience as an entrepreneur, I met about 10 VCs last year when we are doing our, trying to see our expansion from Real Shopee, which is a rural commerce company. 8 of them said very good business, but we are not going to go invest at this point in time. 2 of them said it is trash and you are going to go kill yourself very soon and don't come to us for any time for the growth, this thing. And the VC has become a small, individual HNI investment for the growth. And then probably we are running it. And the same questions what Ajay mentioned, whenever you go there, you will have a typical questions. But in my personal opinion, your business should feel that it needs some money for the expansion. It is not that you feel as a business, or you should not build any business for only looking at where to go and how to go for VCs or when to go for VCs. This is my personal, view.
Thank you so much, panelists. Can I request Mr. Vivek to come onto the dais and hand over the mementos as token of appreciation? Thank you, Mr. Faniraj, for coming and sharing your insights. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Bharat, for accepting our last-minute request. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Subbu. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Ashok, for facilitating the panel discussion. Now let's move on to our next topic, Startup India and Happening Hyderabad. Can I request Mr. Ramesh Loganathan to come onto the dais and take over the talk with what's happening in Hyderabad and in the Startup India ecosystem? And it's over to you. Or do you want me to give you a brief introduction? I'll allow you to talk about it. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thanks, Renika. So it's very open-ended, right? I mean, startup India and Happening Hyderabad. So I'll just talk a little bit about what's happening in the city. The national initiative, I think everybody is aware of. I think the whole movement is launched. They're still working out on the mechanics, so it doesn't yet really trickle down into the mainstream in terms of Startup India, what's going to happen. The app and the one-stop shop for all the registration and the incentives and such. But it looks like initially the bar is very high in the Startup India movement. So just to get enlisted as a startup, they have very high bar, because one key requirement they have in the Startup India enlisting process is innovation. And they have very tight view of what is innovation. So unless it is a patent or coming out of research, they're not viewing it as innovation. So by that measure, most startups don't qualify. So I think they're still in the process of tweaking it. So that's happening. I think it may take some more time before that kind of gets refined and becomes more mainstream. But that said, I think the movement is creating a lot of support for institutions at least. That's come up. There are a lot of, there's the Atal Innovation Mission and few other initiatives that are part of the whole Startup India movement that's funding these support institutions, whether it is incubators or academic incubators or organizations like T-Hub. So I think that's happening, and so I know many institutions are applying for some of those programs. I think those funds will come, and then the enablers will kick in through the support organizations. I think that should start happening in the coming months. So that's one good thing that's coming out of, I think, tangibly coming out of the Startup India movement. And if you see what's coming down to the individual regions and cities. So locally, I think T-Hub is, of course, everybody is aware, it's one of the best possible enabler that we have right now. We also have a fantastic network of incubators and co-working spaces in the city. What we have in Hyderabad is the network is probably the best in the country, especially for early stage. So what's happening in the city right now is most of the enablers are in the early stages of the startup. And that's why we're focusing on, we believe if we can handle a startup up to angel funding, then there's enough support available. There are a lot of VCs in the market and a lot of other initiatives available to support startups beyond the angel funding. So the focus that we have is to take, at least me personally and many others in the ecosystem, and also T-Hub's focus is to create the support environment, create an excellent support environment that can very quickly take a startup through the initial stages all the way up to angel funding, which is typically a 12 to 18 month journey for a startup. Most startups should reach that stage when the right space with the right opportunity and going after it the right way. It will be 18 months that they should reach the stage of angel funding, which is anywhere from 1 to 3 crores. And so that's the focus. If you look at what T-Hub is doing, initially T-Hub started off, we had to get established. I think what T-Hub has done for us right now is got us on the national map, which we were not there earlier. We were seen as one among the top 6 destinations for startups in the country. Today we are being viewed by and large as probably 2nd or 3rd in the country, especially for early stages, which is where startups start. And our focus is in creating new startups. And so that's the primary mission of T-Hub. It's not just that building. If you're aware of it, T-Hub is an initiative. It's a program where the building is one manifestation of the program. But the T-Hub itself is about enabling the environment in the whole city, working with all the other the incubators and co-working spaces, academic institutions, and kind of other enablers. So T-Hub started something called Lab 32, which is one program available for startups inside T-Hub, which is early stage startups. It's a 6-month kind of a structured program, not an accelerator, which is generally much more intense. So that's coming up. Now we are looking at similar programs through T-Hub that brings all the other like the co-working spaces, incubators, and other kind of startups outside of the T-Hub building, the Catalyst building, also into the fold. So that's happening. We had a meeting with all the co-working spaces and incubators at T-Hub about a month back. We have a network already. There used to be a network called Hyderabad for Innovation, which is again unique in the country. Probably the only city in the country where every provider, we had about 110, 120 different providers that were part of the network. Like they could be commercial, they could be community initiatives, they could be academic or government, all of them like ranging from acceleration programs like Startup Leadership Program of Founder Institute to events like Startup Saturday, the August Fest and others, to actual incubators like the Triplet Incubator, ISB, BITS, many of the incubators. There are a lot of commercial co-working spaces. So we had all of them listed. There are about 11 or 12 different types of enablers that we brought together under this platform called Hyderabad for Innovation about 2 years back. And that platform is completely now part of T-Hub. So the whole, because T-Hub's objective was essentially that, to bring all the enablers together and amplify the support that's available in the city. And so that network, if you go to T-Hub site, you have a full directory listing, and which is essentially the Hyderabad for Innovation listing. Now, building on that, recently we had a meeting with all the co-working spaces and incubators outside of T-Hub, meaning we had all of them come in for the meeting, and we discussed how can we create a collective enabler. Because each of these co-working spaces may have 40, 50 people, 60 people, it's about 10 to 20. In like a bigger one has maybe 20 startups. Many of them have less than 10 startups. So when you have 10 startups in the incubator, the access to support is very minimal, whether it is mentors or investors or any other market access support and like any other support that you need. Access will be limited if each of them were to go try by themselves. So what we said we will do is that we'll try to create a collective platform. So where we bring all of them together, when we put all the co-working space and incubators together into one platform, suddenly we're looking at a platform that has 300-400 startups. And so we just started on that, and I think we should have the announcements coming out soon. So we bring all of the startups into one fold. We want to run a structured program, so we're a part of the program. The co-working space is a part of the program. So when the startup approaches the co-working space for some support, at least they have a channel. They can go to somebody and say, okay, we need this kind of support. We need somebody, we need a reference in the pharma industry, or we need a reference in some other sector. And so basically what the endeavor is that like a startup typically goes through a journey. Now, any startup, I mean, however, in whatever space they may be, like however supported or enabled they may be, the startup's journey primarily involves like starting off with a hypothesis that, okay, this is the opportunity, this is the market, this is my idea, and they take it out, they go to the market, and when they go to the market always has a feedback little different from what they were expecting. And you learn from those kind of market experiences and pivot. The faster you pivot, the more likelihood is the success of the startup. Like the pivots are unavoidable. Like if you can, what might take 1 year otherwise, if you can do those pivots in 3 months, then the startup is that much more effective. And that's our primary kind of effort at this point, is to see like how quickly can we enable those pivots. Like whether it is through, some of it may be through mentoring, some of it may be through like the accelerated market access. And so there are different ways of doing it, but we want to make that access available. So like a startup should not be going off on a not so like effective path for too long. They should get the right feedback either from mentors or investors or from the market as quickly as possible, so that like they can make those pivots and kind of come to a point where like they have hit the right formula that's going to click in the market and then focus more on scaling. So that's the primary initiative. I mean,